Our next guest has been speaking to several current or potential Democratic presidential candidates. Darrick Hamilton is an economist who has advised Senator Cory Booker, along with Kirsten Gillibrand, Kamala Harris, and Bernie Sanders about their economic policies, and in particular, how to make those policies address racial and income inequality. Professor Hamilton, thanks for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you here. What are some of the policy proposals the potential 2020 candidates have raised in your discussions, and why do you think all of these Democrats are coming to talk to you?
Yeah, I mean, broadly speaking, they are thinking about transformative economic policies, considerations around things like a federal job guarantee, where we have the lofty goal of literally eliminating involuntary unemployment and working poverty altogether. Policies around baby bonds, where we think about seeding every child at birth with enough resources that when they become an adult, they can purchase an asset like a home, a debt-free college education, or some seed capital to start a new business.
Yeah, let me interrupt you there if I can. Sorry.
Sure,
yeah,
sure.
New Jersey Senator Cory Booker has proposed this baby bond proposal, as you coined it. And this is your brainchild, is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I've certainly had a lot to do with it. It is framed in a lot of other policy ideas, but you are right that I've invested a great deal of my professional life in advancing that, yes.
You're saying that at birth, every American child should be given a certain amount of money that they can then divest for an asset-creating an asset-creating proposal, such as going to college or starting a business or buying a home. Is that correct?
That's correct. I mean, at the end of the day, these are all part of a package of what some might call an economic bill of rights or economic goods that can be transformative in people's lives. And no single policy is a silver bullet for everything. And I think you bring up an important consideration, which is this based on income or is it based on wealth? So some people that advocate for basic income, and Kamala Harris has a bill that's really aimed at trying to subsidize people's income across the tax spectrum so that our tax resources aren't just going to the wealthy, but going to those at the lower end of the income distribution as well.
Well, let me ask you, sorry to interrupt again, but I just want to be clear. The universal basic income would give everyone, regardless of their personal wealth, the same amount of monthly stipend, correct? Your baby bond policy would vary depending on the wealth of the family the child is born into. Is that right?
Two quick distinctions. One policy is aimed at wealth and the other is aimed at income. And income and wealth are both important in people's lives, but they're very different, right? Income addresses your periodic expenses, whereas your wealth gives you asset security, can be used for investments, rainy day, allows you to take chances and leave your job and pursue something else. So I think we need to really make distinctions between what income does for people and what wealth does for people. And then the other quick distinction I'll point out is that the bill that was put forth by Kamala Harris, I wouldn't call it a universal basic income, but more akin to a basic income. So a universal basic income where everyone gets the same dollar amount, that might have some practical considerations that aren't as advantageous in my mind than if we were to have one where we still address income across the distribution of Americans, but one where those that are in most need get more resources than those that have the most.
You tie a lot of your economic theories or proposals to racial inequality as well. Is that right?
Exactly right.
And so do you think that Democrats this time around, we heard after the election of 2016 that put President Trump in the White House, we heard that, identity politics was done and that was not, a winning strategy for Democrats going forward. But yet this cycle, we've heard Democrats talk about race already more than they had last cycle. So do you think it is a winning strategy?
Well, identity politics have never gone away in American history. In some elections, they become used more, but the notion that, last election and the previous election didn't have issues of identity politics, I think is somewhat of a misnomer. I think some of the policies that we're talking about they're race conscious. So they're universal, but they're race conscious. So we need to think about economic rights, but not just economic rights without consideration of race, but one where race is explicitly taken into account.
All right, Professor Darrick Hamilton, thank you so much for sharing your insight with us.
Thank you, Tanya. Have a great evening.